They told us America was the land of opportunity, a place where hard work was all you needed to make it. But for millions, today, that dream feels like a lie. People are working harder than ever yet, falling further behind. Prices keep climbing, wages stay the same, and the American dream is slipping further out of reach. Every morning, millions wake up already tired. Tired of the rent, tired of the bills, tired of pretending everything is okay. For some, the collapse is losing a job. For others, it is medical debt or watching savings vanish overnight. But for millions of Americans, the collapse is not coming. It is already here. They are living it every single day. They told us this was the richest nation on earth, yet life feels poor for so many. This is not just an economic crisis. It is a quiet unraveling. One grocery bill, one rent payment, one sleepless night at a time, an invisible collapse happening in plain sight. This is the story of a country breaking down, not in a single moment, but in the everyday lives of its people. This is not a storm we're waiting to pass. This is the new normal for millions of Americans. 38 million live below the official poverty line. 44 million struggle with food insecurity. Every night, over 600,000 Americans have no home to return to. Half of working adults cannot cover a $500 emergency. The numbers are staggering, but they only scratch the surface. Behind each statistic is a family, a person, a life weighed down by a system that seems designed to leave them behind. The streets are lined with crumbling infrastructure. Roads and bridges are breaking down. Public services are stretched thin. Rent continues to rise while wages barely budge. Healthcare costs spiral out of control. Millions are drowning in student debt they never asked for, but were promised would lead to opportunity. For too many, the basics of survival, shelter, food, water, medicine, are no longer guaranteed. This isn't a temporary dip or a passing hardship. It is systemic decay, and it is happening quietly. The American dream that promised freedom and prosperity has been replaced by a grind for survival. People are forced to work multiple jobs, often just to keep the lights on and the fridge full. And even then, it is not enough. This hidden crisis touches everyone. The overworked, the underpaid, the middle class, the forgotten, and those who sleep on the streets. The collapse is not a future threat. It is unfolding now. It is lived in the morning rush to pay the rent, the late-night calculation of medical bills, the grocery lines that stretch longer than ever. It is in every choice Americans must make between food, shelter, and survival. This is the story of a country unraveling one household at a time, one day at a time, and for millions. It is not an event they can escape. It is life itself. And the truth is, this life of struggle is not an accident. The system is not broken. It is working exactly as it was designed, to serve the powerful, the wealthy, the corporations, and the political elite. Every law, every policy, every loophole is carefully crafted to protect them and keep the rest of us running in place. You are told to work harder, to sacrifice more, to keep your head down. But no matter how hard you work, the finish line keeps moving farther away. The top 1% owns nearly 30% of the nation's wealth. Meanwhile, the bottom 50% of Americans share just 2%. These numbers are not just statistics. They are a reflection of the lives of millions. Families trapped in a system that takes more than it gives corporations push for policies that benefit them. Lobbying to keep healthcare unaffordable, outsourcing jobs overseas, raising prices on education, housing, and even the food we eat. Both political parties, despite their differences, continue to prioritize profit over people. The ones making the rules are not suffering in the way everyday Americans are. Their jobs are secure, their wages grow, their wealth compounds, and we are left to scramble for what should be basic human needs. This is not about failure on an individual level. It is about a system that is deliberately designed to extract from those who have the least, while giving more and more to those who already have the most. And understanding this is the first step. Awareness is the beginning of change, but for now, it is the harsh reality for millions of families across the nation. For millions of Americans, life is not about choice or opportunity. It is about survival, day after day, month after month. With the weight of the system pressing down on every decision, families across the country are living on the edge, struggling to put food on the table, to pay rent, to cover medical expenses, and to keep the lights on. These are not stories of occasional hardship. They are the reality for millions who, despite working multiple jobs, living frugally, and making sacrifices, parents watch their children go to bed hungry, hoping that tomorrow will be better, knowing it probably will not be. People who have done everything right, gone to school, worked hard, followed the rules, find themselves facing job loss, mounting debt, and healthcare bills they cannot possibly afford. Every month is a balancing act, a tightrope walked over the abyss of financial collapse. One unexpected expense, one car repair, one illness can wipe out months of careful budgeting and planning. That isn't freedom. That is survival mode. The daily life of Americans in this system is a constant struggle. Long commutes through traffic, empty pantries, payday loans, medical bills that seem impossible to pay, the constant fear of falling behind and losing what little stability has been gained. This is what millions wake up to every single day. The stress is invisible to many, yet palpable to those living it. A quiet desperation that defines ordinary life in America today. This story is not just about one family or one town. It is about communities across the country, neighborhoods where people work tirelessly, often in essential jobs, only to find that their labor does not provide the security or dignity it should. Teachers, construction workers, factory employees, nurses, and many others are doing work that is vital to society. Yet, they struggle to survive on the wages they earn. And the worst part is that this struggle is no longer an anomaly. It is the norm for millions. Every day, Americans are reminded that the system is not designed to support them, that basic human needs, food, housing, healthcare, safety, are treated as commodities to be bought and sold rather than rights to be guaranteed. And as they navigate this collapsing system, they do so quietly, without applause or acknowledgement, carrying burdens that are far heavier than they should ever have to bear. When we left America, we were not looking for adventure. We were looking for a chance to live. We wanted to find a place where life was not a constant struggle, where basic needs did not cost more than most people could earn in a month. What we found in countries like Thailand and Vietnam completely changed the way we understood wealth, happiness, and community. In these countries, the price of healthcare alone was astonishing. A visit to the emergency room for our 2-year-old after a head injury cost just $7. In the United States, the same visit could have easily cost $3,000, and that is after insurance. We realized that access to healthcare does not need to bankrupt families. It does not need to trap people in debt for decades. Everywhere we went, we saw communities built on connection and care. Markets full of fresh vegetables, fruit, meat, and spices were run by local families. Even the poorest families could eat well, with food that was fresh, healthy, and affordable. Children played safely in the streets. Families lived close together. Elders were respected. Neighbors helped each other. People had time to be human, not just workers or consumers. We saw a kind of dignity that we had never seen in the United States, no matter how much money we earned or how hard we worked. In countries we were told were third world, we found safety, belonging, and respect. We found freedom from fear of losing everything to an unexpected medical bill, a car repair, or a rent increase. We found a life where it was possible to thrive, even without a fortune. It became clear that wealth is not just about money. It is about what your money allows you to do, and more importantly, about what society allows you to live with. When a country prioritizes people over profit, when communities are strong and care for each other, life itself becomes richer. And that is the lesson we carry with us every day, a lesson that the richest country in the world could learn if it chose to. True wealth is not measured by the size of a bank account, the number of cars in a driveway, or the square footage of a home. True wealth is measured by the freedom to live your life without fear. It is the freedom to be healthy, to spend time with the people you love, to feel safe in your home and your community, and to have the ability to make choices without being trapped by debt or endless bills. Freedom is not about working until you are exhausted or sacrificing everything just to keep up with a system that was never designed for you to win. Freedom is about living a life that is truly yours, a life where your needs are met, your dignity is respected, and your time belongs to you. No country is perfect. Every society has challenges, and no solution is simple. But what matters most is priorities. When a society chooses to prioritize people over profit, when it values community, health, and safety above corporate gain, everyone benefits. Life becomes richer, not just for the wealthy, but for all of us. This is the kind of wealth that cannot be printed, bought, or sold. It is a wealth built on human dignity, on connection, and on the ability to live without constant fear. And it is something that each of us can seek, create, and protect, no matter where we are. It is time to wake up. Millions of Americans are working harder than ever, yet life is still slipping through their fingers. The system was never built to lift everyone up. You have been told that struggling is normal, that working more is the only path, and that your sacrifices will eventually pay off. But it is not your fault. The real question is who profits from your suffering? Who benefits when ordinary people are forced to survive instead of live? You do have choices. Step 1 is to question the story you have been told. Step 2 is to rebuild your life around what truly matters: health, food, safety, community, and time with the people you love. Step 3 is to explore your options, even if that means looking beyond the borders of the country you were born in, to find a life that works for you and your family. The American dream may be fading, but the human dream, the dream to live with dignity, purpose, and freedom, is still alive. We have seen families thriving on far less money but far more humanity. Children laughing in sunlit streets, fresh food markets where everyone can eat well, communities that care for each other, neighbors who look out for one another. It is not just about escaping survival. It is about choosing to live, to build a life where people matter more than profit. If you are ready to see what is possible, to explore countries and ways of life that few people talk about, to learn how ordinary families are creating extraordinary lives, then join us. Subscribe to this channel and like this video, because more stories, more insights, and more opportunities to rethink your life are coming. Life is meant to be lived, not endured. And it starts with the choice to live it fully, to live it freely, and to live it well.